This is the I Love Success podcast. I'm Peter Chumrukovsky, and I have made a vow to myself to help as many people as possible to achieve their dreams. Let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to this week's episode of the I Love Success podcast. I'm actually super excited for today's episode because we're going to talk with, I think, one of the strongest minds on the planet. I've been a karateka all my life, and I've actually, I've been very close to Antonio Diaz in competitions and watch how you warm up and how you compete. And I always saw something very special in your eyes and your focus that I want to talk about today. And I mean, you have been 8 consecutive world championships. You medaled, you won 2, you became twice world champion, and I think it's 16 Pan American championships, right? You've won.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 times
yes,
World
yes,
Games, 2 times Pan American Games. I mean, it's quite unbelievable. You probably have a house full of, medals. And I always like to dig deep in the minds of people like yourself. And here we are. So welcome, Antonio Diaz, to the I Love Success podcast.
Thank you, Peter. That was a nice presentation. And yeah, it's been a very long journey in karate. I started, very young when I was a kid, because of my father. He practiced karate and boxing. So when I was a little kid, I used to watch him training sometimes at house, and imitate him, dojo or anything, but he started teaching me some things at home. And then, I remember at that time, now we can see the dojos accept kids, like from even sometimes 3-4 years old. And that time, I think 6 was like minimum age. And it was like, okay, because my father was friend with the sensei, so they accept me. And since then I fell in love with the karate, Yeah.
That's awesome. And what was it karate that you fell in love with? I know I started training at 6, and my father is actually my sensei. And I know was something special, but for me, the first time I was training karate, I didn't want to train. I threw the gi, I ran out naked from the dojo, and I didn't want to train. What was it with you that made karate so exciting?
I think first for me was like a game, and I remember my first time in the dojo. The thing is, I had that first encounter with karate at home with my father. So it was not something very different. I mean, not something totally new or different, for a kid. I knew what I was going, a little bit of what I was going to do, but I was a kid, so I was like all the time watching to the to the door to see if they still there. But then I think the class was pretty much games and this, and then I got into it, and I think one of the good things is that I had a lot of friends that were also friends in my school. So it was nice, to share with them. It was not, of course, there were new people, but I have like 3 or 4 friends that I knew from the school. So it was, a little bit more comfortable for the, first times. So I think I started enjoying, the what I was doing and everything. And at the beginning, I was not doing competitions, it was like just training, just doing the karate. So it was I think that was good at the beginning, because there was not so much pressure about you have to go to a competition and win. Now I see kids like 6-7 years that they sometimes their senseis, their parents, they want them to be like world champions at that age. So I think there's a lot of pressure with them. So I think for me it was good that at the beginning I was not doing competitions. I was just training, enjoying having fun. So that kept me going, you know.
And when did you do you remember when you realized that you were actually really good at karate? Was it a specific moment when you realized, wow, I'm good and I can become really good? Now I can hear you. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is actually good. This is karate, right? This is life. Things happen.
Yeah. I'm sorry that, you know, I have a little bit unstable connection, but
No,
we
no
will try to
problem.
do our best here.
You know,
and
it's
and that's
funny.
it. Yeah.
We're talking about unstable connection, and for people that know karate and kata, that you have been competing so many years, it's unbelievable. Basically 14 to 16 years you managed to medal at a world championship, and there's so small details. And I was just thinking about that yesterday, like for 16 years, probably at least 5 katas each competition, and you were able to perform for so many times with minimal mistakes. And I'm curious, in your mind, like how are you able to be so focused and not making very minimal mistakes for so many years?
Well, I think you know, when it comes to mental uh, toughness or mental preparation, I remember I met. It was in 2007. I met one of the person that made the biggest impact in my karate, who was Inoue Sensei, Yoshimi Inoue. So I started training with him in Japan, and the trainings there were like really hard, you know, like a lot of hours, and and of course, I at that time when I met him, I already had uh, three bronze medals in the world championship. So I thought like, okay, I'm good, you know, I know. And when I started training with him, he said like, oh, okay, no, this is not good, this is not good. So I had to change a lot of things. So in some way, it was like a big learning experience, not just for the techniques, but try to empty that cup, because at the beginning he was trying to correct things, and I couldn't do it because it takes time to get these new things. And I was saying like, okay, but I was doing fine because I was medaling in the world championship, so why I have to change? So it was like a fight in my mind. But at the end, I think the most important I understood there was like, I have my cup full, so I could not get anything in, so I have to take everything out and then put the new things. So that was a big learning experience for me. But in that time, he used to say it always like the best mental preparation was the hard training. So I think when you know that you did the homework, you prepare yourself and did the best you could do, your mind is strong, he said. Because in some way, if inside that you didn't train well, or you skipped some trainings and this, then you're giving that space for your mind to play with you and say like, okay, you're not going to be so strong, or maybe you can have some mistake and this. But when you know that you train and did your best, that the mind is more focused on the competitions. But now that we are talking about mistakes, I had experience, maybe not so many people know, but in the second time I won the World Games, I was in 2013. I bet in the semifinal. I beat in the semifinal Kyuna from Japan. He's now the world champion, and so I think for me that was like the hardest match in that tournament. So I knew the final. I'm not saying it was going to be easy, but it was like I was more relaxed. So I wanted to do like my best kata. I had super impe, that is the kata I felt better with, and I really wanted like to show something special. So when I started the kata, I have done super impe millions of times, and when I start the kata, I start with the wrong foot. so it was like, and when I did the first movement, I was like, okay, what I'm doing here now? What should I do? And it's like, like you say, karate is. I thought, okay, kata is a fight, so I cannot stop.
Yeah.
I tried to finish in some way, and then I see what happened. So the first 3 movements from the hip up, it was a correct way, but in my stances I was with inverted. So then I made like a small movement, and from then on I was correct. So at the end, all the chief referee was saying I need to be disqualified, but there was a lot of argument because we had a change of rule at that time. So in the rules, there was not specifically something that said I should be disqualified. There was a lot of argument. So at the end, they decided to vote. The main referee voted against me, and the others vote in favor of me, because they say even though with that mistake, the kata was really better. So I mean, if they decide I should be disqualified or lose, I would accept it. But the main thing here was that when I did that mistake, I think that was the teaching there. Like maybe you have a mistake, but you cannot stop. If at that moment when I did the mistake, I said like, okay, I have to stop. I cannot win this. Maybe I was going to be disqualified, but I finished and I had the chance, to get that gold medal. So I think sometimes in life we have small mistakes, and then we said like, oh, okay, now I have mistakes, so I don't continue with this. So you always have to try to, even if you have mistakes or you have you don't do the things perfect, you have to continue, and at the end is the whole picture. So I think that was something also the competitions teach me in that war games.
I love that, and I think we learn from everything, right? And I'm curious for you, Antonio. You competed for so many years, and like, why did you ever think about stopping, or like what was going on in your mind? Because staying on top for so many years, what most people don't know, it's really difficult, because you need to practice, you need to go to all these tournaments, you probably have more than 100 days of travel every year, and you're away from family, you're in the dojo, you're doing all of this work, and can you just talk about like, why did you do for so long, and why didn't you stop earlier when you became a world champion?
Yeah, I think there have been many things that kept me going. Of course, I love competition. I'm a very competitive person, and my main goal was to get the gold medal in the World Championship. So it was something that was uh, uh,
I think we got disconnected. Can you say that one more time? I heard your main goal was to get the world medal.
Yeah, the main goal was to get the gold medal at the World Championship. So I got the bronze medal 3 times. Then I got to the final. I lost the final in 2008.
Yeah.
And can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So when I won the World Championship in 2010, of course, I always been very competitive. So I wanted to, go for one more. So 2012, I won again. And then I say, okay, not so many people have won 3, so I'm going to go for the third one. So in 2014.
So
2014. Yeah. So well. Yeah, I'm trying to get my third gold medal. And at that tournament, I had a lot of things happen. Like 3 days before the tournament, I got sick. And the night before the tournament, I almost had no sleep. So also I had like a very tough draw. The first match was the European Championship, second match with the second of the European Championship. So I used like my best katas in the first round. So in the quarterfinals, it was supposed to be a not so hard round. It was against Germany, and we were in Germany. So I think also the strategy was not so good, because I was saving one kata for the semifinal. So I lost 3-2 in that quarterfinals with Germany, and I managed to get the bronze medal. But at that moment, I say, okay, I tried, but I couldn't do it. But the feeling was like, okay, I don't want to get this feeling for my last world championship, no? But my sensei at that time said like, okay, it's time to finish, to start training more for teaching, for form new athletes. And I say, okay, that's good. Then the next year he died. And for me, that was very, very tough. And I was kind of lost because in my mind, I had his words like, okay, this was your last, you need to dedicate to other things. But inside also, I said like, okay, I want to do one more world championship, not just to get the gold medal, just also because, finish with a different feeling, like a feeling that I give my best I gave my best in the tournament. So I decided to start training again and go for the 2016. I lost the semifinal with Japan, but I really felt good in that tournament. I think like inside I said like, okay, I gave my best, in that performance. So I was satisfied with that. And at that moment we received the news that karate was going into the Olympics.
Yep.
And I say, okay, well, this was a little bit late for me. I think it's, I've been dreaming about this, but it's I think it's not my time.
Yeah.
But then, that year, watching the Olympics, the Rio Olympics, I was watching on TV, and I said like, I don't know, I cannot see myself sitting on the TV, watching the Tokyo Olympics and watching karate for the first time on the TV and think, what if I tried? So I talked with my family, of course. My wife at that time said like, okay, if you want to do it, I'm going to support you, but you have to do it good. You have to do your best. Yeah. And I decided to, continue on that journey. But so, yeah, I was saying that I decided, Tokyo is the last.
Yeah.
And like I say, yeah, it's in some way I felt is not in my best moment, but the motivation has of being there, and also like to have the Olympics and also the Budokan as the last place to do my last tournament to retire there. I think it's it's nice for all this journey.
Yeah, no, it is. And one thing that I want to talk to you about, how do you feel like, I know you've had a lot of rivalry in your career, especially with, for people that don't know karate, with Italian Luca Valdesi. Can you just talk about how important is it to have rivalry in business, in sport, to become better? Did that make you better to have someone that was dominating the sport for so long?
Yes. I think the rivalry with Luca was important because it pushed me, to train hard, to be, to look for different ways. Because I remember when I lost with him in 2006, it was the semifinal of the World Championship. I at that time I was looking the video, and I said like, okay, I have two options. No, I can say like, okay, because kata can be very subjective. And, I was like, okay, I can say like, okay, referees, he's the current world champion. We were in Europe, and put a lot of excuses. But I said like, okay, I'm going to try to see it and watch these katas as, with, trying to be very honest with myself. And I said, okay, I think he was better. So accepting that, give me the strength to go and said, okay, if he was better, next time I have to be better. I have to see what I can do to be, to improve myself. Of course, it was not just about beating him. It was, so seeing it that way helped me also to focus on myself and see how can I be better than that performance, because if I'm better than that performance, I'm going to be also better than him. So, of course, my focus was not only in him, was mainly on myself, on improving myself, but having him or having this rivalry kept me going, and motivate me to, to train harder. And I always said, because I think, like I say, with Luca, I lost 2004, 2006, 2008, and finally 2010, I beat him in the World Championship. So when I tell the story, people say like, oh, that Italian, always got you, and finally you beat him, and say like, and I say, yeah, but when I tried to talk to people that maybe not in karate, I said to them like, yeah, we all have an Italian in our life, and it's like we all have a Luca in our life, a rival, and the thing is sometimes that rival is even ourselves. Sometimes we are our biggest rival, so you have to be, I think it's good to have rivals and to see what are your obstacles and use them as motivation to get better.
Yeah, I love that. And how did you see that relationship? Because I'm curious, some people have rivalries and they hate that person. They're like, fuck it, I'm gonna beat that person. And some people like, okay, it's more of a friendly competitive thing. Like how did you approach this, and how did it help you to become better?
I think, I think for me it was more like a friendly rivalry. Of course, I wanted to win, and sometimes I was a little bit angry, and I know for him too, So I remember one time I beat him in Italy in an Italian Open, and he was not very happy. But I think Luca is also a good person, and that rivalry also gave us a friendship, and today we are even in some commissions together in the WKF, in the World Karate Federation, and also we have been doing sometimes seminars together, and there's and he did like a online or a virtual tournament recently, and he invited me to be one of the judges, so we have a good friendship that came from that years of rivalry. So I think, yeah, my approach is not okay, I hate this guy. Of course, I'm not the one that get in that moment. When you are rival, I try to keep some small distance. But when we are not in the competition, maybe we meet outside, or I think I'm very I have good friendship with most of my rivals.
Are you a bad loser?
No, I think I had some moments when I didn't know how to accept the results. But usually, yeah, like I said before, I try to be, unbiased and try to see it, that okay, if I didn't do it, like try not to put so many excuses, but sometimes, of course, I have seen things that I say like, okay, this is not, but I think with time I learned to manage a little bit that situation, and in this last part of my career, it was difficult because, like I say, I decided to start the journey of qualifying to the Olympics, and a lot of new talents are coming up. The kata competition is very competitive nowadays, and going to the tournaments and not being on the podium was at the beginning a little bit frustrating, and especially if you have been on the top for so many years, and then you see yourself like, okay, I'm getting behind, and of course, it's a little bit of ego there, and you say like, oh, what's happening? But I discovered something, is that this last part, I said, okay, I want to enjoy this. It's my last years. So I started saying like, okay, for example, this year I went to Paris Open, and that was like a really important tournament for me. I started winning my first important medals in that tournament. I won 6 times that event. So I said, okay, I'm going to enjoy this. It doesn't matter if I medal or not, but I'm going to enjoy this tournament because it's the last time I'm going to do a kata in this place, in this tournament. So I start seeing it different, and not worrying about the medal. Of course, I had to worry about good position, to get the points to qualify. But then I see, I was maybe not medaling in all the events, but I was getting enough points to be there, and qualify. So I think this new approach is been good for this last part. And now I secure my place for the Olympics, and of course now the mindset is different. No, I have to train hard and do my best to do whatever I can to get a medal in Tokyo.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to talk a little bit about, when it comes to, for people who don't know karate, competing in kata is very subjective, right? It's in the eye of the referee, basically, to judge and see who did the better performance. And it's similar in a lot of sports. It's also similar in life. You do everything, and at the end of the day, it might not be enough. Can you just talk about how do you deal with that? I know you said you're taking ownership and you're not worrying that much about it, but because I know there's so many people out there, they're doing everything, they're trying so hard, and then it doesn't work out, and they're like, oh, it's that person's fault. It's that person's fault,
I think the idea is, of course, it's not easy, but try to focus on what you can do. Maybe it's easy to say it, but it takes time, and you're gonna be frustrated sometimes. But when you learn that you cannot control everything, you start worrying more, or you start putting more attention and working harder in what you can do. So a lot of times, I was saying like, okay, yeah, the referees, or I was not happy with the evaluation. But then I start thinking, I say like, yeah, but I think I could train more, or I haven't, done this very good and this. So I start finding that when I was worrying too much about some things that I cannot control, I discovered that I was not also doing my best in what I can control. So it's trying to, change that focus and understand that, if you feel that you are giving your best and doing the best you can, at the end, you want to win important things, and it's not just experience but it's for me, it's also all these learning things from karate are value for life. I've been about not giving up, and always trying, and I think you start enjoying this process, when and see that you cannot do, you do it and you improve a little bit, and then those small things start giving you happiness.
Yeah. And speaking about happiness, do you think, can we talk about success and happiness? Are they aligned, or are those two different things?
For me, they are aligned. I think for me, success is being happy. Yeah. It's and I think, of course, sometimes we focus too much on the medal. Like, okay, success is to be world champion, but I think through all this journey, when I look back, of course, I love the medals and the results, but sometimes the best parts are the things I learned, in the process. And when I remember, of course, winning makes me happy, but I remember, other experience that make me happy also. And I think mainly when you're happy, I think you're successful. For me, that's my vision of success. Not only the material things. I'm not saying that that's not important, but I think it's the way I see it. No.
Yeah, I love that. And one thing that I'm curious, the first time you became a world champion, like how long is that happiness staying in your body before you like, shit, now I'm a world champion and I need to win again?
Yeah, I remember very clearly that at the moment I saw the flags, I dream about this moment always, going up with my hands, like celebrating. And I remember going, like with my hands up, and I said like, oh, finally. So it was like a relief moment, not celebrating. It was like, okay, finally I did it. Now I'm relaxed now. But yeah, I enjoy that moment a lot. And I think when I came back home, uh, uh, the next week I was thinking like, okay, I can win another one. So yeah, I think that that happiness of the getting that goal made me also wanted to go for more.
And that's so interesting because all the people that I meet, I've met UFC champions, entrepreneurs, a lot of karate world medalists, and I think that's the drive, and that's why you've been so successful, because you have this goal, and then when you reach it, okay, and what's next, right? What's next?
Yes.
Uh, how do you feel like, what do you think your life is gonna be about when you're done after the Olympics in Tokyo? Because you've been chasing goals, chasing dreams basically all your life. Do you think that's gonna be a hard transition for you, or like what are you planning to do after that?
I think it's, of course, the transition is hard even if you're prepared. And one of the good things is I've been so close to retiring so many times, so that I kind of know a little bit the feeling, no?
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit prepared about that. But of course, I want to take more time to share my knowledge, to teach. I've been doing seminars. I like to do seminars, but I think now I can do it. Put more intention into that, prepare better, or prepare new ideas, because sometimes the seminars is like, okay, I do it in combination with a tournament. So I'm traveling to Europe. So I was doing a seminar before starting the series of tournaments, or kind of this. But now I think I want to prepare more to teach. I have a dojo in Venezuela, in Caracas, and dedicate also a little bit more time there. I have some instructors working there with me, so that helped me, that I'm not there all the time, but I want to maybe try to be there, and I think that place will be also a place to try new things, and to do like kind of experiments, to also teach for the seminars, or teaching in other countries. So I think that I want to spend a little bit of time on that. I'm gonna be also on the sports karate. It's not that I'm gonna be not going anymore to competition, because also I'm member of the athletes commission for 2 more years in the World Karate Federation. And so yeah, I think in like involved, but seeing it with no pressure now from outside. Sometimes when you have students, I think sometimes it's more pressure than when you're doing it yourself. But I want to still be involved with development of athletes and students, and of course take also some time for the family.
Yeah. And you've been, how many countries have you been to, Antonio?
Well, I haven't counted exactly, but I think I'm around the last time I count, I think it was around 75 or something like this. Yes. So yeah, I love traveling. I think this is also one of the things that karate one of the gift of my karate career, you know, traveling, meeting people. I think different cultures. I love to, also when I travel, I love to, you know, I'm lucky to have friends, you know, also in different places, and you know, try local things and live local experience. I love this part.
And what have
So
you
I
learned
love this, you
in
know.
the world? You know, what have you learned from meeting people from so many places all over the world?
Well, I think one of the most important things is to you know, to have an open mind and to understand that, you know, the sometimes you're going to see some things that are very different from your belief or from um, what you usually do. But even with those differences, you can have really good friends, you know, and you can enjoy also good things. So I think I think this is one of the most important things, you know, to to try to learn and to try to accept the differences we have, no, and um, understanding this is I think is very interesting.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, I love traveling, and you know, you realize when you meet people that we're all very similar in a way. We all want to be loved. We all want to feel happy. We all want to feel successful. And I mean, one thing that I'm curious about your life. They're young people watching this. They're like, oh, they love what you have done, what you have created. Like, what can you just talk a little bit? What does it really take to become a world champion? Because everybody wants to be a world champion, but it's a big difference between wanting and actually doing the work.
Totally. You know, I always said that when I was I think I had like maybe 12 or 13 years, and I watched like one of the first videos of a world championship, and I said like, okay, I want to be world champion. And I remember at that time it was difficult to have access to those videos, no, and it's not like these days you have all these possibilities. I had a cassette, you know, a VHS, because and I saw my first world championship there, and I was like, oh yeah, I want to be there, you know. And so I start, sometimes I at home I play like I was in the world championship, and I was playing like doing some kata, maybe a kata I didn't know fully, or more advanced kata I saw a little pieces, and you know, saying, oh, I'm doing this kata. And then imagine I was in the podium, and you know, and the national anthem was playing, and people was, you know, cheering and everything, and it was, for me, it was a game, a play. I didn't know what I was doing, but now I understand that I was doing something very powerful, that is visualizing or visualization, you know. So it's something also I use in my mental training. And like you say, okay, at that moment I knew I want to be a world champion, but and of course I see myself there. But then, you know, I think where most of the people fail is, you know, you have to do a lot of sacrifices. You have to, because sometimes you have to, yeah, or with your friends, but enjoy it is not that as of a sacrifice. But I think the difference is the from the people who said they want to be is the work. I think the work is the most important. If you want to do something, you have to work for it. It's not just saying, of course, like I said, visualizing and saying I want it is very important, it's very powerful, but it's every day, you know. It's waking up early in the morning, doing the training, you know, of course, correcting, then go again next day, and try again and try again and try again. So I think the work and the consistency on that work is the difference to reach that.
I love that. And I think also realizing that you might not win the first time, because I looked at your results from way back. You didn't medal the first
Mm.
time. You were continually improving, right? And
Yes, yes.
I think that is something, because I meet a lot of people. My father is my sensei, and I've taught a lot of kids too. And if they can't win the first time, a lot of people, unfortunately, they quit. And I think that's so sad, because there's, what is potential, what is talent, and what is a good mindset? It's the work that we actually do every day, right?
Of course, of course. And I think I learned this from a very young age. I was in my first competitions. I when I was a kid, I was not winning. You know, even I think my parents, they didn't. You know, they were not so sure I was going to do good. But I kept doing. You know, I kept working, going to tournaments, and like you say, at the beginning, it was not I was not medaling, but in some way I knew I can get there. So I keep trying, and I think that first years I get that competitive mind, you know, of not giving up and always trying to if I don't get it, try again and try again and try again. So I think, like I say, is work, is patience, and of course is you know, being very consistent and constant with trying.
Yeah. And how do you, during all these years, how have you said no to all the excitement from other areas? You know, how have you been able to stay focused and for such a long time?
Well, I think I always try to look for a balance, you know, and and of course it's not that time, you know, like, okay, this time for, you know, being relaxed or think about it, another thing. Also with the routines, you know, sometimes when you are training for a competition, maybe your diet is very strict, but you know, I always try to keep that balance for you know, I think if you're, and of course enjoying what you're doing, but not restricting for, you know, having fun also, and enjoying other things in life. I remember training with Inoue Sensei in Japan, and sometimes we train until maybe 10, 11 in the night. And after that, he said, like, okay, we're going to karaoke, and and today we're going to have one beer.
Yeah.
And you know, he always said, like, okay, life is balanced. You have to be relaxed, smile, so you can perform well.
No, I agree with you. I mean, my best performances when I competed in karate was when I was balanced. You know, sometimes I put too much pressure in my mind, and it didn't work out for me. And I'm curious for you, do you when do you perform the best? Because I think if you're too relaxed, it's not good. But if it's too much pressure, it's not good either, right?
You need to find that balance.
Yeah.
I remember in 2004, was I already had a bronze medal. My first bronze medal was in 2002. So that year the world championship was in Mexico. So because it was in America, many people was expecting, okay, I can win the gold medal in that time, and I already beat I already was you know, winning and some European tournaments and in some opens, and when I got to that competition, I was so pressured about, you know, what everyone else was thinking. So in the first katas, I lost. I think it was in quarterfinal. I lost with Luca, and after that, I had to do two more matches to get the bronze medal for the repechage, and it was not easy matches. I had to beat France and then Japan for the medal. So I I went out and I beat France and beat Japan 5-0. So everybody was saying, like, wow, what a difference. You know, it was the same day, but what a difference between the first three katas and then the last two. You know, you seem like totally different persons, you know? And I think that that pressure I had before, losing, was making me not performing at my best.
Yeah, it's interesting how life is, and I'm gonna round up here. I know you have probably a busy day for it today, so just two more questions. When you look back at your life, Antonio, what do you want to have seen to say, "Hey, I'm happy. It's been a good life for me." Like, is there anything specific you want to have seen, except for everything you already accomplished?
I think, yeah, when I look back, I one of the things that make me happy is I have enjoyed this life. I have enjoyed all the experiences, not only winning, also the bad times, because I had chances, like I told you now, that I could have medaled in 2004, my first gold medal, but also teach me that experience teach me something. So I think I'm grateful to to learn so many things with this athlete life, and also traveling. So yeah, I think that's what I was saying about happiness, not that success and happiness. That when I look back, I think the journey has been, um, I have enjoyed it and very nice. So I'm happy for that.
I love that. I think it's the human experience. And I've met over 200 people just super successful. And most people say that, at the end of the day, of course, it's cool that you became a world champion and all of that, but it's the experience, it's the journey, it's every, and the world medals wouldn't have felt the same if you never had felt how it is to lose, right? It's
Of course, of course. Or the work, or when you lose so many times and finally get it, I think you value that more if you just get it the first time.
yeah. And the final question for you, all the people from all over the world that are listening and, look up to you and like your story, they have a dream, they want to do something, but they don't know where to start. What's your best advice for them to get started right after this podcast?
I think, uh, I like to say that, just give the first step. And from my experience, I'm a guy that I like to be everything, to have everything perfect, all the situation perfect to start something. And for that, I have lost a lot of opportunities. So this is something I struggle with. Is I think is one of my weak points. Sometimes when I have a lot of idea and say like, okay, no, but I need this perfect and this. So then somebody else do it, and I was like, or I see people that are doing it, and I say, okay, I can do it, but I didn't start it. So I think, you start, and on the way, you're gonna get better, But if you wait, you're never gonna start. I can tell you that.
I love that. Antonio Diaz, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate your time. If people want to connect with you, where's the best way to find you?
Yeah, you can find me in all the social media, Instagram, Twitter, Diaz Karate. And also, you can write me. My email is diazkarate@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm trying to stay very active, especially Instagram. Me over there.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody that are still here watching and listening. This was an amazing conversation. We're sorry for the connection. We'll maybe have to do this again because you have so much wisdom, Antonio, and you've been through so much. Guys, if you like this conversation, if you like what we did today, make sure to share this with somebody that needs to hear this message, hear this story. My mission is to help at least 10 million people to go after their dreams, and that's why I meet with people like Antonio to share, and so we can all live better lives and be happier and more successful. And whatever that means for you, go out and get it. And I think what Antonio said, just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. I have the same disease like you, Antonio. Sometimes I want everything to look perfect and I don't start. And then I see someone else. What's going on? And it happened to me when I was younger too. I was
Yeah,
planning
yeah,
to talk to this girl in the bar and until I find what to say, she was already gone. So
yeah, 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 yeah.
take action, guys. And that's it.
That's right. Action is the word.
Antonio, thank you so much. Here's a virtual hug. Hope to see you live. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peter. I enjoy it, and sorry for the connection, but
No, it's not your fault.
I'm sure we do. I'm sure we will have another time to talk better,
I
and I
appreciate
hope it
you.
will be in person.
Yes, I hope so. I really hope so. When next time you come to Los Angeles, please let me know. I would love to have you here in person.
Perfect. Take care.
Bye bye.